Bruce Lee was one of the most ripped martial artists and action movie stars of all time. And he accomplished this partly by using a training technique that we rarely talk about in the fitness industry today: isometric training. But not only did Bruce Lee use isometrics for developing his physique, but also his fighting skills. For example, Bruce Lee would hold a fighting stance for hours at a time to develop the strength and endurance necessary to maintain these positions while fighting. That led to him developing one of the most impressive physiques ever seen in the industry. By combining isometrics with other forms of exercise, you can substantially increase your muscle mass, strength, and endurance all at the same time. So today I want to go over exactly what isometrics are and how you can use them to get ripped fast. So first, let's start by explaining what isometrics are. The word isometric comes from the Greek word isometrics, which means equal measure of force. What S? Because an isometric exercise is one where you exert a force against an immovable object, and when done correctly, your muscles will be put under tension without moving. Now, many people think that since there's no movement during an isometric exercise, they won't help you build muscle or burn fat, but that's not true. In fact, isometrics can be a great tool for building muscle and burning fat. That's because when you exert a force against an immovable object, your body responds by increasing the amount of muscle fibers and the size of those fibers. This process is known as muscle hypertrophy. It's not only that, but your body also has to work hard to maintain your posture and balance while doing an isometric exercise, which engages your stabilizer muscles. These are the muscles that help keep your body stable and steady, such as your core muscles and your glute muscles. By engaging these stabilizer muscles, you'll be able to build a strong and stable foundation for the rest of your body. Isometric exercises can also help improve your balance and coordination. When you're doing an isometric exercise, your body has to work hard to maintain its equilibrium. This can help improve your overall balance and coordination, which can translate into other areas of your life. For example, if you're an athlete, better balance and coordination can help you perform better in your sport. Or if you just want to improve your quality of life, better balance can help you reduce your risk of falls and injuries. Now you're probably wondering, how long should I do an isometric exercise for to see these benefits? Well, there is no one-size-fits-all answer to this question, as the ideal amount of time will vary depending on a number of factors, including your fitness level, the specific exercise you're doing, and the goals you're trying to achieve. However, a good starting point is to aim for 3 to 5 sets of 30 to 60 seconds each, with 30 to 60 seconds of rest between each set. It's important to gradually increase the duration and intensity of your isometric exercises over time to continue seeing results. Now, you're probably wondering, aren't isometric exercises a little bit boring? Yes. Unlike traditional strength training exercises, where you can simply count reps and lift heavier weights as you get stronger, isometric exercises can be more challenging to track your progress. You may find that you need to use more creative ways to track your progress, such as using a heart rate monitor or a GPS watch to track your effort level. But there's nothing wrong with that. A lot of other forms of exercise can be boring as well, like long-distance running. But that doesn't mean that you shouldn't do it. You might just need to find ways to make it more enjoyable for you. For example, you could listen to music or podcasts while you run. Another way to combat boredom is to simply switch up your isometric exercises from time to time. There are literally infinite amounts of isometric exercises that you can do, so there's no reason to stick to the same ones over and over again. So now that you understand some of the benefits of isometric training and how to incorporate it into your workout routine, it's time to take your training to the next level. Now let's move on to the main topic of this video. Bruce Lee was a huge proponent of using isometric exercises in his training routine, and there are several reasons why he was so fond of them. One of the main reasons was their effectiveness in helping him develop his fighting skills. As I mentioned earlier, Bruce Lee would hold a fighting stance for hours at a time. This type of isometric training helped him develop the strength, power, and endurance necessary to fight effectively. By holding a fighting stance, he was able to train his muscles to stay strong and steady even after prolonged periods of exertion. Another reason that Bruce Lee was a fan of isometrics was their ability to help him overcome a plateau in his training. At one point, Bruce Lee was training with a weighted vest to increase his upper body strength, but he soon reached a point where he wasn't making any further progress. Frustrated, he decided to take a break from traditional weightlifting and focus on isometric exercises instead. This is his isometric routine. He discovered that by pushing against a wall, he was able to maintain his strength and even make some gains. This allowed him to overcome his training plateau and continue making progress towards his fitness goals. Now let me explain exactly how you can use isometrics to build muscle and burn fat. First, you want to start by selecting an exercise that targets the muscles you want to train. You can do things like decline sit-ups to target your lower abdominal muscles, side planks to target your obliques, and straight arm handstand push-ups to target your shoulders and triceps. Second, you want to find a comfortable starting position. For example, if you're doing decline sit-ups, you want to find an incline bench that's low enough that you can bring your upper back and head to almost touch the bench. This is your starting position. Once you're in position, place your hands behind your head and curl your feet under so that your toes are pointing up. Hold this position for a few seconds, then slowly return to the starting position and repeat for reps. Another excellent isometric exercise is the plank. There are a variety of different plank exercises, but I recommend starting with the basic front plank. Begin in a push-up position with your forearms on the ground, elbows aligned with your shoulders. Then extend your legs and come up onto your toes. Keep your body in a straight line from head to hips. Engage your core and hold this position for a few seconds. Make sure to keep your hips from sagging and your back from arching. Now there's another form of isometrics known as static stretching. Static stretching involves holding a stretch position for a prolonged period of time, usually between 30 to 60 seconds. This type of stretching is often used after a workout to improve flexibility and range of motion. For example, you can do a static stretch for your hamstrings by standing with your legs straight and reaching towards your toes. Or you can do a static stretch for your quadriceps by sitting with your legs crossed and pulling your toes towards your nose. Now, if you really want to reap the benefits of isometrics, I highly recommend incorporating them into your warm-ups. Before starting any workout, spend 5 to 10 minutes doing various isometric exercises that target the muscles you will be working in your workout. This can help you prepare your body for the workout ahead and increase your range of motion. For example, if you're going to be doing a chest press, start with some push-ups against a wall or desk. If you're going to be doing squats, start with some isometric squats against a wall. You can also incorporate isometrics into your cool-downs. After a workout, spend 5 to 10 minutes doing light cardio followed by static stretches. This can help improve your flexibility and reduce muscle soreness. In Bruce Lee's time, gyms weren't as prevalent as they are today, so he had to get creative with his training methods. For example, one time he was stuck in an elevator for 2 hours, and he used the opportunity to practice his fighting stance and shadow boxing. Another time he was on a boat and used the railing to practice his jumping and spinning techniques. These types of stories demonstrate Bruce Lee's dedication to his craft and his willingness to make the most of any situation. He understood that being trapped in an elevator or on a boat didn't mean that he should skip his workout. Instead, he found ways to incorporate his training into these unexpected situations. In fact, Bruce Lee believed that martial arts training should be a part of everyday life, and that you should always be ready to defend yourself. This mindset is reflected in the way he trained, even when faced with unexpected obstacles. So that about wraps it up. I really hope you've enjoyed this video. If you have, make sure you subscribe. And as always, thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you next time.